The universe of 40K is sometimes so expansive, it can be hard to figure out where to start. There's a plethora of lore scholars out there who are pretty good at dividing it down for people interested in the content itself, but I feel like there has to be some kind of better way to get people involved, or at least make it, stomachable and easily to digest in a short form. So I guess I'm gonna throw my hat into the ring. What better spot to start than the mascot of the entire universe itself? The Space Marine, which weirdly enough is a difficult spot to start. Firstly, there are two main archetypes of Space Marine, the old ones and the new ones. The old ones being referred to as the Firstborn Marines, and the new ones being named the Primaris Marines. The difference being the new ones have 3 spicy new organs, and also maybe only are kind of maybe a cash grab by the company that made the miniatures to make more miniatures, but that's, yeah. As I said, Primaris Marines have 3 spicy new organs, which brings the total of extra organs implanted into a Space Marine to 22. The original Firstborn Marines having a total of 19 extra ones being added in. What are these organs, you ask? That is such a horribly complicated question to ask. So, in short, there was a guy. The Emperor of Mankind, yes, that is his actual name, and they call him that. He was so good at everything, he decided to make more of him. 20 more of him. It ended up being 21, then 19, but we count 2 of them as one guy, which this entire scenario confuses the hell out of me most of the time. So I guess we'll just discuss it at some other point. So these clones of that 116-foot god-man person were called the Primarchs. These Primarchs all have unique flavors, and their genetic code is what is used to make the organs to give the Space Marines their individual flavor and temperament. The 19 organs in question all have little quirks of each of the Primarchs that make the Space Marines under them all have inherited traits from their gene father. Such as, with this one sneaky guy, his entire legion liking to play hide and seek in their spare time, and this guy really liking the Pain Glove, and the rest of his legion very much enjoying the Pain Glove as well. And each of these Primarchs has a grouping of Space Marines. These Space Marines underneath them are called legions, or at least they were. The legions themselves used to be about 10,000 plus strong, and they ended up dividing them up into smaller chapters that are about 1,000 Marines strong, depending on who you ask. They each go by their individual names, still descended from that initial Primarch and the original Legion. These organs have the responsibilities of making their bones stronger, their muscles denser, their ability to consume meat and know what that meat did before it was eaten. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They have a gland that can convert like DNA and RNA into memories so they can know what a thing did up to a week before it died, which is fucking Looney Tunes science. That is absolutely fucking insane. They also have a gland in their mouth that spits acid. It never comes up. I've read a few of the books, not a lot, but it never comes up that they have this thing called the Becher's gland. Look it up, that's what it's called. It's called the Becher's gland, and it's... I always just assumed the way that they described it, it turns their saliva into acid, it's just to help them eat things that they normally can't eat, but no, they really like to stress the fact that it's used to, spit acid and shit. It's weird. You have a bunch of other organs, all of them just are used to aid in the general size and strength of a Space Marine, but the ones that you are probably going to hear the most about when you read any of the literature, if you decide to, is the progenoid. Now, the progenoid is a gland that is located in the throat and in the chest. When someone says gene seed, they usually refer to the genetic material that is inside of that specific organ, if not the rest of the organs themselves. The gene seed is the genetic material that comes from the Primarchs to make the organs that make Space Marines. But the progenoids themselves cultivate germ cells that are able to be transformed into more gene seed to make more Space Marines. Space Marines themselves are asexual. They don't reproduce themselves, having been mutated from human children into 9-foot-tall killing machines. They can only make more if they get the genetic coding, the gene seed, from another Space Marine, take it out, and use it to create more organs to implant in the new Space Marine child soldier. It's complicated. So the progenoid is the main gland that makes the Space Marine. With the organs out of the way, or at least the major ones discussed, the chapters themselves of Space Marines, as well as the legions, are populated by these 9-foot-tall, muscle-bound war machines programmed to kill everything since age 10. They all have a set level of skill that is really, really useful. So say there's a problem that needs to be dealt with, any Space Marine could generally deal with it. Now, that being said, each Space Marine chapter or grouping has a specialty to some degree. Now, some specialize in just generalist tactics and being good at everything, but some specialize in being great at one thing. So, for some legions, again, let's look at the sneaky boys again, they have a specialty of being sneaky while being 9 feet tall and 700 pounds before the armor, which is fucking impressive. And then you have other Space Marines that are good at espionage and spying and collecting information. Some are good at close quarters combat, and some are really good at fucking magic. Yes, there are sorcerers, magic, wizards. In a sci-fi, it's complicated. Psychics are weird, and it's just magic. But this is just a primer for what I have planned. So my goal is to make an 18-part series to discuss the original 20 legions, reduced down to 18, and we'll get into the reason why once we get there. Each of the original 20 legions of Space Marines are numbered from 1 to 20. Each one has a Primarch, and I want to discuss the quirks of each individual legion, what the genetic quirks of them, the personality traits, the flaws, and just interesting characters I see in there. And hopefully you can kind of figure out which chapters you would like or find more interesting. And I just encourage people who find the lore of these chapters to go off and do their own research, because I'm just giving like a broad overview and just, you know, talking about something I care about. Give you points if you could figure out what my favorite legion is. I think it's a good way to get my toes wet for 40k content. And also to discuss something that I love. Big, strong, veiny, sweaty, muscular men with giant fucking tits.